Hello everyone, in this video we're going to look at the effects of overhangs on the process of slicing within Cura so that we can understand how to print better objects on our 3D printers here in class. So I have two objects here, both of them are technical in nature. The first one over here on the left is a holder to hold microbits, and the one here on the right is a bracket for a fan. And we can see that there's quite a bit of symmetry on the part to the left. We can see a repetition of a pattern here, and the microbit sort of slots into these holes going from side to side. And then this pattern over here, the design on the right, is a lot more technical. We can see some screw holes. We can see that there are these large sort of overhang pieces of plastic that extend out with nothing below them. And we can see these red bars. So we're going to talk about those here today in the video. So let's go over here to the microbit platform and look at it from the bottom. And we can see that the entire bottom is red, meaning that this will connect with the build plate. And if we were to raise this up in the air, the entire piece would need to be supported. So if I look from the top, we can see that it's all just yellow, and if I scroll in, we can understand that the printer would print this as a base and do it layer by layer, and nothing really juts out by itself and hangs in the air, so we don't have to worry about anything falling over or drooping or needing to be supported. However, if I scroll over to this object on the right and I change my orientation, we can see that the red piece here is quite a bit above this actual build plate, the surface. So for us to print this without it drooping or falling apart, we actually have to build up a support structure, something that we can remove at the end. So what we're going to do is open up our settings. We're going to scroll down and hit generate support and hit slice. This takes a moment, but what it does is it goes through and generates the support and slices all the objects at the same time. And we will start our review here on this simple object and understand sort of how it's working, similar to what I'm going to show you in the next video to understand the actual print for the printing of the lines. So I'm going to switch to preview, and we're going to look at the preview here, and we can see that sort of if I go down the layers here on the side, that every layer of plastic, especially on this object here, is going to be built on top of a previous layer. And we can see it goes right from the bottom all the way up, and nothing overhangs. If I go over to the object on my right, so I'm going to move my screen, sorry, we can see this blue material. I'm going to scroll out a little bit, and we can see it sort of building up in between the object. So the red, green, and yellow, that's the actual plastic that we want to keep for our object, and you can see it builds up and builds up. And then what we can see here is right about here, let's turn our orientation around so we can look at the backside like we did in the last one. We can see that this gray part represents the actual object, and I'm getting closer to it, so let's go up a few more layers, and we can see that as we get closer and closer, the pattern of the support starts to bridge. Okay, so the support itself gets this back and forth accordion effect, and then they put a cross hatch on, and then the next layer should actually be one of our printed layers, so we can see it start to form. There it is. So if I scroll in, this red, green, and yellow is our actual object, which is supported by this tearaway material. So in real life, when this is done printing, and I have a picture of this to put in the description or down below in the course, we tear away all this blue plastic. So I'm going to zoom all the way out, and we can see again that this blue plastic is a support. So we build it up, and it goes like an accordion or a zigzag shape all the way up. Then we get this cross hatching, and then we get our actual object. And the print here between these layers is actually a little bit removed from each other. Sorry about the video. But if I scroll in here, you can see there's a slight gap. And that means when this red line is actually printed, it'll droop just a little bit, enough to attach itself to this, but it won't be smeared or pushed into the support material. So it won't have a true adhesion, or a true adhesion, which allows us to actually break that plastic away. Okay, so hopefully this video helps you understand the ideas of supports. Again, you can see this shape on the left. There's no single piece of plastic that juts out and hangs over, which we call an overhang. So there's no need for supports. But this large component here, where it has this big tall roof with nothing underneath, we have to consume plastic to build a support material that goes up and holds it up while it cools. So whenever we can, we try to limit the amount of supports we have because we're wasting plastic, and it also sometimes can mar the finish of your object. Okay, so it can leave like little bits of plastic behind. So it really depends on what you're trying to build. Hope this video is helpful. Thanks for watching.